hate you kiss me every
Welcome,
time.
welcome,
Everyone.
everybody. Okay,
Yes.
so this is episode 7, right? Meet the Exes. What did you think about this episode overall?
Oh my gosh. So it was a little bit of what I needed. It was a little bit of extra
The Aries
stuff.
part.
Yeah. And I even liked the way that they are reacting to Janelle too. I'm not gonna lie, because I think that she okay, so first of all, her and Jessica were on the most amount of dates. But so that was funny. But I really got what I needed out of this. I saw some more connections. I saw some people like claiming people.
Mhm.
And I saw some facial expressions I needed to see. And we all know what happened at the end. What needed to happen for a minute now. So there's that.
Absolute facts. Okay. So the men have the power. I wrote down some stuff too because I had a couple of things that just kind of like stuck out to me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was I kept seeing full plates of food when people were leaving these dates.
Me too.
I mean, Jessica had the most pretty piece of salmon sitting over there. And
Yeah, I saw that.
What happens after they leave and get up from the table? Like, are they boxing this food up and sending it to people? Like, what's happening here? Why aren't they eating? Right?
Yeah.
Hey, Mocha. And then the other question I had a question and a comment. Do you notice the difference in between the energy and the vibe between the men's lounges and the women's?
Yes.
They be in there joking and everything. Maybe it's gonna get tense later, but I just wanted to see if anybody else noticed the difference in the energy. The women's lounges be tense, okay?
I don't think it's gonna change. I think the men, he even called him tonight. He was like, "It's the Fab Five." He was like, "Y'all are shrinking. Like, there's less of you." But I even thought that was interesting because if they be in that joint rolling, Herbert telling jokes,
Maria had them cracking up.
They're all in there having a good time. Chris, at one point, when they talked about the tarot card, he was like, "What the card say?" I thought that was just really funny. They're just in there clowning. I think that's dope, but the women's lounges be like,
yeah, I can't wait to talk about that.
Cases. They be in that joint running judicial systems, and the women's lounges, it's stressful. I don't want to be in those rooms. And I wonder if the men's lounges take as long to film as the women's lounges too. Now I'm thinking about it. I bet
that is a good question.
Aries said that they be like 5 hours sometimes. I bet the men's lounges be like 90 minutes.
That's a good question to ask. Because I think that I've heard people ask, like, are they long? But I don't know if anybody ever asked if they were shorter than the women. That is a good question. And then the other thing I wanted to say was just a comment that Maurier said that he was Pan-African. So I didn't hear him say that at first. Okay. And so I really, really even stressed what I said before, that he cannot be out there messing around with Kira.
Nah. That's not going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen for anybody now.
No, but she was relieved. She was relieved that she, probably was a stressful situation for her, because I would have to think that in the way that she said that she grew up, that she doesn't fit in on either side. You know what I mean? And so she was relieved that she went home. And I don't necessarily agree that they should have kept Sierra too. I feel like they should have let 2 women go this time as well, because they all said that she had like the homegirl vibe or whatever. So like nothing against her, because I think she's a nice I thought she was a nice girl, but like there is that line of being like, some women embrace their what do you call it? Their sexuality more than some women, and the women who don't embrace it outwardly, like they tend to be looked at as just the homegirl, you know what I mean? So maybe that was it. But I love her personality and stuff like that. But I just don't feel like we need to sit through another. Like, I feel like it's going to be a waste for them to be like going around again and be like, who should go home, because y'all already said,
It's a waste to see. Nobody has said that they're connecting with her. Even there was one mention of her and Herbert, but I don't think he mentioned her. So it's like, what is really going on? And he, she doesn't have any connections. It's time for her to go. And so the thing about Kira, though, is that when she says she was relieved, it's odd to me, because you could always just go. Like, what are you waiting for? She just finding stuff wrong with all these people, but honestly, it's her. So
but on this show, you have to really, really not want to fucking be there to remove yourself. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like she wasn't at that point. But and then she probably was like, well, I'm just gonna ride this thing out. I think they get like a stipend every week or whatever. Like, why not? You know what I mean?
Okay.
How long can I stay or whatever? I mean, because at a certain point, I do think she probably realized, I'm not feeling it here either. But she would have had to go say that, and then she would have got backlash for that. Hey, Ellen, she would have got backlash for that too. So just being let go naturally, I feel that was a good move. But I thought she probably was relieved.
So. I mean, probably, but I just was thinking to myself the whole time, like, okay, thanks for letting us know you're relieved. You could have just walked off a long time ago. It's just one of those people that, like, I didn't want to be here anyway. Like, that's how I took it. And it was just like, oh, so sad for you. Like, what are you doing? Get out of here. Go sit down. And it's like,
yeah, I was like, go ahead and get her out of there.
Get out of here. You're out of here. Like, I'm fired.
So let's talk about these dates because I learned a lot of information. I was seeing all the faces, and I don't know how they matched that up together, but it was a good episode to me because we got to meet some of the men's exes. Yes. And I don't know. Do you want to start with in order how they went? I
will start, but I have this question. I always come up with like some sort of question. It's so funny because Tommy framed it as, they're going to meet your ex. They're going to ask questions like, who is he in a relationship? Has he healed from his last relationship? He was saying some questions that would have been good to know, but I don't know that I don't know if he prepped the women with those questions or whatever. But the one thing I was thinking about is, what if this was like a regular practice in everyday dating, like in regular dating, like, how it is when you meet the parents? It's like, what if you're like, okay, it's time to meet the exes?
Well, listen, that cannot be because, okay, now if a person's in that situation, I would imagine they have to figure out who they're still talking to ask them to do it. If you got a toxic situation, that's not going to work for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? If you're listening to something like, or if you were leaving and the person didn't want you to leave, are they really going to be doing a good job at this? So, I can't see that happening as a regular practice.
Well, this one turned out interesting. I want to say the first date was Morier, Janelle, and Jessica with his old Jessica.
Yes. Which was very interesting. But I gotta say, he prepped the fuck out of her. Okay, he prepped her. He gave her everything.
Exes, or is she like his homegirl or something?
But some people who've been exes with you just end up real cool with. I could see that happening. Now, I'm single, so I can be friends with whoever I want to. That probably doesn't work in a relationship because I think Sierra fast forward said that somebody needed to back up. One of the exes she met, she was like, she needs to back the hell up. But I could see how that could happen. You know what I'm saying? But he prepped her so good.
What do you mean he prepped her so good?
He prepped her so good on what he wanted her to say, and she went right and asked everything.
Oh, she did, didn't she?
He kind of threw her under the bus or put her in the line of fire because of the questions that he told her to ask. And the only reason she was asking some of those questions was because he
asked her to ask them, like the sexual question. Now, when I thought about it, I was like, okay, I do think it has something to do with the dynamic of both of them, though. Janelle and Jessica together, it's like they have a standard to uphold amongst themselves or something, like they're dating. Because I feel like if it would have been on just a one-on-one date with the Jessica ex, it might have gone differently. But Janelle is hilarious talking about, I need somebody who's firmly rooted in the infallible word of God. I was thinking, like, how did you just come up with that? Like, you must have said that before. And then she was like, oh, this was the part that was crazy. So then Jessica didn't like being asked that question, which when I put myself in the seat and thought about it, like, I wouldn't want nobody ex to be like, how do you feel sexually? Like, how are you? Hey, are you a freak? Like,
that's why I said he threw her in the line of fire because they were offended by it. And like Mocha said, Janelle and Jessica are friends. And so that probably I could see how that would have had like my friend feel some type of way. Like, how do I go against her? I guess. I don't know. I mean, one would say just keep it real and be yourself, but who knows how, I mean, then on top of that, I felt like, okay, don't get too friendly with the ex because she's not going to be your friend.
She's still not your friend. Like, she might, even in one of the situations we could talk about later, it's like the person that you dated has evolved now. Like he learned from fucking up with you. So thank you very much for everything he is today. But at the same time, it's like y'all's thing is over. It's not like y'all can't be in connection with each other, but it's like, how deep do I really trust you? Because you don't need to know some of the stuff.
Sierra said that about her. She said she needs to back up. I think she might have said it differently, but so basically that date counted them both out. Like they were all
for each other. It was canceled out. It was like Family Feud.
But I feel like in the men's lounge, did Maurier say when Tommy asked him who he was feeling that did he still say Jessica?
When
they were going over.
No. When when he said, I think that both I lost two. He said, I think I lost two connections with that one date. And so now, and he was like, now Sierra's my only hope. But it's like.
But then he said, would you really, like, how do you feel? And I think he said Jessica, because then Chris said, don't settle for Sierra then. Wasn't he talking?
Yeah. I think you're right, because he was like, "Who do you like?" Right? Like, not who do you think would have you? Who do you like? Right? And he did say something else. I guess he said Jessica. I guess he did. Now I can't really remember.
I can't remember. I could be mixing that with another date, but I remember Chris saying, "Don't settle for Sierra." So
yeah, that's true. So Sierra's next to go. I can't even believe they really didn't let her go this time, even though she's one of my favorites. I just can't see her. She doesn't have a connection there. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, for them to sit around and vote again, it's going to be like, well, we just had this conversation. But
we just had this conversation.
Anything could happen, though. She could.
Anything could happen, and I haven't seen her with Herbert yet. Sorry.
So, Mocha said, why was Janelle even on that date?
Which date? Oh, with the Jessicas.
But I guess she did have a connection with Maurier.
I did not know that. I thought she just took up for him in the lounge. I did not know they had a connection. But she did say that she wasn't his strongest connection. Right? So her strongest connections are Quentin and Herbert. And now I'm starting to think that it's Quentin. But anyway, moving right along.
Yeah.
I don't know what Maurier stands in this. When they go to voting off men next week, and there's only 5 men now.
Yeah.
So now it's really down to the wire, which is really, really odd to think about that. It's just like, Herbert, Chris, Quentin, Phil, and Maurier. And I think Maurier is probably going to be the one to go because he has the least amount of connections. Him and Sierra are next. They might send them off as a pair.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I guess it stretches out the season because we know that she's the next woman to go home. Well, I mean, no, I'm not even going to say that because anything can happen with these calls and everything. I'm not even going to speak too soon.
Yeah. We don't know. You're right.
I did want to say Aries did really good on her dates. Like, hands down, everybody loved her.
Let's talk about Quentin.
What do you think about her?
About Aries?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, I think.
No, what were you about to say?
I think next we saw Quentin with Lee, Janelle, and Bree, which was interesting because he said that Lee back. That she. What did he say? He said something about her.
She shrunk or something.
And she said that she was upset. She was so upset that she couldn't ask any more questions, which I don't know if I really buy that. I just feel like she probably, I don't know, maybe she was, because she said that she didn't like the fact that
he ghosted her.
He said he ghosted her in front of his other connections. That's what she said.
But also, we did not see that whole complete date. So who knows what else he did on that date. But Mocha said Quentin had ghosted Lee. Yeah, he said it in front of everybody. So like, I don't know what else happened, right? What else
happened there?
Talk about, because she seemed pretty, adamant about. I wasn't engaging anymore. So what happened, right? So,
but Quentin liked that Janelle stepped up and was like,
he likes the aggressiveness.
He likes that, and so does Herbert.
Somebody that wants your man sitting at the table. I was like, okay, Quentin.
Dude, Herbert is funny too. I know, like, Quentin was funny with that line. I was like, hey, you need somebody to come out and fight for you. But then Herbert is hilarious too, because in the men's lounge, oh, this is my favorite line out of the whole joke. Actually, Janelle had a couple of quick ones there too, because when she met with the other Jessica, and he was like, Maury was like, you didn't even ask her any questions. She was like, no, I think I got it. I was like, wow, she's hilarious. But another thing was that when Herbert it was in the lounge with the men talking about Janelle, he was like, she's a thug. And he's like, I like it though. I'd be like, bring your thug ass here. I was rolling at that, but he's funny. But I mean, I guess if that's how she's out here thugging, then listen, it's working because she's so. And everybody introduced them to her to their.
Yeah, she did have a lot of dates. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, she's at least that serious with people. Because I was thinking like there might be connections I don't know about, but like honestly, if you didn't introduce them to your ex, or if that's not on camera, it's not camera worthy, then like really, what are we doing here? Like, why aren't they telling your story? So I just feel like, okay, that's where we are with that. But Quentin, Lee, and Janelle, I don't know what's gonna happen with Lee because of that. And then we already talked about that. Chris, Valerie.
Yes, we got to talk about Chris and his ex Valerie, because that was the one I was like, whoa.
Valerie and Jessica with Aries were on that day. What do you have to say about that? I have one word out of that I'm going to.
Well, I have more than one word, but when she said that she was in complete servitude.
In servitude.
Like, I just kind of, that makes me wonder, like, okay, did he just pick his last ex, or did he think about it because he had to know that was going to come up?
Yo, I feel like, okay, because he said that the energy changed when Jessica walked in there. So then I'm thinking like, well, what does that mean? Why didn't she direct that to Aries? But then I realized that like, okay, it's not about her not liking her. It looked like she was trying to like tame her. It was like, you're coming in here like that loud. He said she was loud, like she has a strong personality. I was like, hey, y'all act like she's Jurassic Park. You know what I'm saying? It was really odd to me, but she kind of like put her in her place a little bit when she said that.
Yeah. I mean, she does have a big personality, and the consensus was that she's overbearing. So, oh my God. Servitude is a noun. It's the state of being a slave or completely subject to someone more powerful. See, and that, just her use of that word, I'd have been like, check, please.
So I felt like
real. Shout out to her for keeping it real though.
I thought she was really serious. And what's funny to me is like she said it wasn't like the support was not reciprocated, like, oh, it's not that type of party. Like right. she's just like, oh no. So Jessica was turned off by that. Aries didn't seem to be turned off by that. But the point was like when Chris and Valerie were back together after they had left, Valerie picked Aries, and then she had a mouthful to say about Jessica. She said, she's so in your face. And
you don't like that.
She said, you don't like that. She's like, she has no softness, and you need that. And I was just like, wow, like, who is this lady? Is she like, I was like, who is your dating fairy godmother? Or what's going on here? Like, how does she... And I mean, listen, he agreed with it. So there's that.
He valued her opinion. Like, you know what I'm saying? If this was his real ex, like he seemed to say that he valued her opinion. And she basically just confirmed the stuff that he was already thinking. And that's why I think that he went with that or whatever. But I can't wait to see the next week's episode when he meets her friends. I can't wait to see what they have to say to him.
Yeah, I want to see that too. Another thing that I really liked to see was Aries and Phil.
Yes.
Oh, that was really cool. So Aries actually, Phil introduced his ex to 3 women, which I didn't even know he had that many connections. Now, let me say this. His
ex was named Amina. Yeah, Phil's ex was named Amina.
It's so funny to me that... Okay. It's so funny to me that these people, I never knew that they were connections, but I think at this point, some people are just around just so that you can stay, right? It's not like, you're stringing anybody along, but I don't think Kat is really for anybody. I think she's just not at the bottom. And I think if really people were thinking about it, nobody's checking for Kat like, I want to date her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think she's anybody's top. She just seems to be sort of like, you know, in the process. And it could just be because she came on late and everybody else had already made it.
But she came in so good because I said her and Christopher had their social game on. They came in there and right away started making connections or whatever. So I don't know what happened. But you're right. It's a lot of connections that we just didn't see. You know what I'm saying? Ellen said, y'all, I got to send y'all to Pocket Watching with JT Lane. He has a guest exposing BWO 19 Keys. Oh, we were talking about this a couple of videos ago.
Yeah.
BWO. Yeah, because your father had mentioned, I think his name is Derek Grace or whatever. And I was surprised that he was watching Derek Grace, but then after I thought about it, I'm not surprised. But he was involved in that, but I think he left before something happened. But yeah, Ellen, yeah.
I know who Derek Grace is with all the tattoos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what this is about.
But Ellen, I'm going to look into that because I'm very into that, and I know exactly who JT Pocket Watching is. Oh yeah, you know that. Okay, I got to see that.
But anyway, okay, all right. So
I enjoy Phil and Aries together. They're so flirty. And you know what else was funny about that is that he was the one that was like, his ex was saying that Amina, she was like, she had problems with him in affection, but he didn't have that problem with Aries.
Yeah,
I think he really is into Aries, and I see like that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Connection. So I really like them together. I don't know why. It's like, what am I making these decisions on?
Yeah, I think that that's there. Now I can officially say this is episode 7. Okay, that's a possible strong connection right there. So you know, I'm looking forward to see how his friends date go because he is excited about her. When they were talking about him, and he was like, every time I mention Aries' name, you start sweating or whatever. You could tell he was blushing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so that was a good look. I love that for them.
I do too. It's so cool.
I cannot wait to see that. So next week they meet the ladies' best friends. Like, I'm looking forward to see if that was going to be as interesting as this was, because it seems like all of their exes were like, you know, being real about whatever they had went through, especially Chris's ex. So I want to see him on that date with Jessica's friends. I want to see Herbert on the date with Aries' friends. And I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see if Sierra turns it around, because they told her to peel back her layers. And, you know, it's only episode 7. She might peel back the layers. She might get Herbert back, because Herbert and her did have a little.
Did they at the improv thing you talking about?
I feel like they had the spark at Aries get together in the beginning, and then they had the spark at the improv thing or whatever. But it wasn't, you know, because they were flirting at over Aries' house. So, she might turn it around, because who's Herbert? Herbert likes
Janelle, and I thought he had a connection with Lee as well, but he didn't. I didn't hear him mention her. I didn't hear him mention Lee in his top.
They just didn't play it for us, so
perhaps. But I don't understand like Lee. I don't understand Lee either, because I didn't understand why she didn't. But I mean, some people are just different ways, especially they show up different ways in relationships, and so maybe Quentin is thinking that he's looking for somebody that's like, I don't know.
Maybe that could totally be a miscommunication, because one, we didn't see enough to me to make her shrink.
Yeah, I think make that make sense.
Something else had to have been said, or something else had to have been added. Something that was left out. So I don't know what's up with that either, because they were like, he was the one saying that he felt like they were already together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So before Phil said that, well, his sister said that. So his ex said that they look like they already together. But about Lee in a men's lounge.
What happened?
I want to know what else happened. What did we miss? Ellen said Phil and Aries are cute. Yes, they are.
They are.
Kat wrong for having her friend on TV with that wig. Okay. Ellen.
So
I wasn't gonna say nothing about that, but I agree with that
We're
statement.
gonna have that conversation
Cat
last
looks
week.
like the girl in Avatar. Cat looks tall as I don't know what. Do anybody know how tall she is? Because her legs look long as I don't know what.
I don't know, but she's
I
not
was like, she
connecting
must
with
be a tall
anybody.
one.
But we're gonna talk about this friend next week because I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know if I was looking at
You
a
guys.
makeup job. What's happening there? I need a closer look.
Oh gosh.
For several seconds at once. I couldn't gauge it because it was like these clips, and I was like, What was that?" So I need to go back and look. And yeah, odd stuff happening, guys. Talk with Selena is saying Aries is boring to me. She looks like she's looking for more of a father figure for her kids than a husband. Just saying. I don't know. I don't think she's boring, but I can understand where you're coming from. Like maybe I think that is one of the things that she's been saying too. Like, she's looking to make sure that somebody's going to accept her kids. Cause I think that's a big thing. That's one of the reasons why Kira got voted off, because how are you going to say that amongst people with kids? Like, oh, that's not my preference. You're basically saying like, you're hearing with someone who has children, like, I'm not their preference. Like, oh well, what are we doing here then? Does Chris have a kid? Because I wondered that. He was offended by that comment, I think. And I was like, does he have a
I mean,
child?
I don't know. It's a catch-22. A person should be able to have their preferences, but I mean, it just means that it immediately cancels you out. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I mean, compared to all of the other drama of stuff that's been happening with the other ladies, Aries is born because she ain't jumping in nobody's face. She not arguing with nobody. You know what I mean? And I do agree that she is putting the father figure part at the forefront or whatever. But that is pretty important, because if he checks all the other boxes and he doesn't know how to, you know, deal with that type of family dynamic, then it's over before it starts. So I don't know. So there's some truth to that. I think it's talk with Slaughter. Let me know if we're saying it right. I don't know if it's talk.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's obviously that's one of the things that we're looking for. And also, this while we're here, let me bring up the fact that Herbert and Janelle sort of misaligned on the kid thing too, because he was like, okay, first of all, for a couple of reasons. Actually, she was saying that like she is willing to adopt, and she's been saying this where she was basically like, yeah, I want to have kids biologically, but it's time, it's now or never type of thing. So then she brings up the whole timeline, right, which is it's a little compacted, I'll say. Like, oh, I'm trying to, in the way she delivered it too, it was like, I'm trying to be engaged into the year, top of next year, like it was a project.
Yeah, she's ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
But I did also notice that when
has a daughter. Oh my god.
Oh, okay, then that makes sense. That makes sense then, because I was like, why does he even care? I didn't. For some reason, I didn't pick up on that, or maybe I just forgot. But so yeah, so that's important to people. I can understand how that sounds weird if you have a child and somebody's like, well, my preference is people without children. It's like, well, I'm not your preference, okay? Like that's kind of like a turnoff. But the other thing is like, Herbert and Janelle didn't match up on the kid thing, just so, because she was like, oh, I'm willing to adopt, and he had a problem with her timeline. But I noticed when they was in the men's lounge and Herbert broke that down and said, oh, she's got a truncated timeline, it didn't look like Quentin had any problems with it. And I remember him saying in the last episode, like, that's not an issue.
Oh my god.
Pretty quickly. Like, I remember him saying that. So they might be more aligned than her and Herbert. But I got to see more about Herbert. Okay, wait. Taco Slana says, I like that let me show. I like that Kira I like that Kira stood on her stand. I'm not a kids person at all. It's best to lose connections that won't lead anywhere.
I agree with that. Yeah,
that is true.
That's what I'm saying. Like, get it up front. It's harsh, but if that's how you feel and that's your preference, I feel like you should be able to say that, because I want to be able to say my preferences, and let's cut out some time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's no sense in dragging stuff along. If it ain't gonna work after 3 weeks, it ain't gonna work after 6 months, certainly, or whatever. Her leading with the father figure. Now we're back on Aries, I think. Her leading with the father figure means that she'd only satisfy that maybe she's not talking about Aries. her leading with the father figure means that she'd only satisfy that, and she'd end up in relationships where their emotions aren't as important. Everything should be important. I don't really understand where
No,
that.
I see what she's saying. She's talking about the whole Aries looking for a father figure for her son, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's true. Everything should be important. Um, but like I think that's something that should be at the top of the list because there's children involved and there's a person involved that it's not fair to them if they can't handle that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it goes right into the preference thing. They get to say what their preferences are, and she should be able to have her preference. She wants to have that at the top of her list, you know, and she met somebody that seems to feel like that's as important because he has a kid too. You know what I mean? But you're right. Everything should be important because it takes more than that to, you know, have the relationship.
Yeah, but I can see how that's like a deal breaker, I guess. Ellen says, I don't think they show Chris's daughter. I was being nosy on his IG. You know, that's the way we find things out, isn't it? I don't think they show anybody's kids so far, unless I missed it. But I didn't know that he was a father. That's why it kind of caught me by surprise when he had a problem with what Kara said, and then I was like, oh, maybe he's just saying that because it's like, you know, not the right thing to say. But I was just like, why would he care? And then even when she was on the date with her, but I felt like she thought she was in company that, oh, he's not, he understands, he gets it, right? Because she even made, Kira made a statement on the date about how like, oh, well, they keep saying the same things. It's like, yeah, it's not a match.
Yeah, she played the violin. Yeah, that was crazy. So okay,
Her Chris is very protective of his child. You barely see her anywhere. Well, there it
okay.
is. I could dig it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he had a kid either. I missed that part. Um, but anyway, I'm sorry. I have something crazy happening over here, but
Well, we're
I'm
about
looking.
to end off anyway, so
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week because, like I said, the exes mean when they meet the exes, that's one of my favorite episodes, and when they meet the friends, that's one of my other favorite episodes, and then the getaway. So
I like to see when they meet the family. So I'm looking forward to all of this stuff. And they can see to go ahead and send two women home next time. Come on, guys.
I mean, I thought, yeah, only because it's just like we already know, but I don't know. It's just the same.
I don't know. Maybe we're not giving it a chance.
I say that anything could happen. So who knows?
It's true. Well, I look forward to next week. And before that, you guys are going to see us on Thursday with those two sisters. Whatever crazy stuff happens this week, we're going to be thinking about that. We're going to be talking about that. And I did a tea with TT on Derek Jackson. Make sure you go check it out.
And it was so good, y'all.
Yeah.
So y'all know Derek Jackson interviewed with dear future wifey Lateris on his podcast, and he's basically, you know, having him on because he had Derek Jackson's ex-wife. I think they probably still married. He had her on for an interview, and it's in two parts. And Faith did a review on part one. I guess you did part 1 and 2, or
yeah, maybe I did. I don't know. I just kind of reacted to the whole situation, but I'm just only just scratching the surface. I have probably a good 30 minutes more of information that we need to talk through. But
your review was good. I thought you had some great points or whatever, and you're funny, so
well, we look forward to the rest of that conversation. Hopefully we'll have some of it together because I'm curious to know what you think about certain things too. But okay, that's for next week, guys. We hope y'all have a great weekend. I'll probably pop back on this weekend, and so will Damita Joe. But I hope y'all are enjoying yourselves out there. I hope everybody has fun weekend plans.
Yes, and I have work planned for the weekend, so we'll see how great that goes. But yeah, we'll see y'all on Thursday, and like you said, might do another video over the weekend about a couple things. But anyway, if you guys are not subscribed, definitely make sure you subscribe. Thank you guys for watching and commenting and engaging in the chat. Shout out to y'all for that. So we're gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace.
Bye.